Hey, I'm live. Finally. And I gotta find out why my light bulb ain't working so you can see me. Instead of this glare from that light bulb. So give me a few minutes or a couple seconds here. I don't know where my plug-in went. Why my light bulb ain't working. I gotta redo all this. But, I gotta redo the whole thing over here. It's supposed to be a brown cord going over here. There it is. Here's my plug-in. And here we go. Whammo! We got light. Bright light, but it works. So anyway, how y'all doing today? Yeah, me, I'm okay. Been outside working. This place, my basement is a mess. You see my Facebook Live? They just got done. I've been in Illinois for Kim's funeral, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. And hopefully I don't lose it, but I'll but anyway, they finally got my basement done from the flooding. The last time I went with Greg in January. Y'all know about that. Went before Pam's dad died, Don. So anyway, uh, they finally got it done. So I didn't do anything today because it was a nice day. So I went outside and I did some work outside that needed to be done. And so anyway, let me see if I can find this and I'll read it to you. First things, let me edit. I'm bad because I have what they call giant fingers, and on Facebook, I just put that I'm on YouTube now, but it reads on Facebook right now. It says I'm okay in YouTube Live, so I'm going to edit that. It said I put what I wanted to put was I'm on YouTube Live now, so I'm going to edit that. So give me a couple minutes, then we'll start with this live because I want to put I am. Nope, it's not going to let me do that. So just hang on. Just give me a couple minutes here so I can do this. Then I'm going to read something to you that I wanted to. I'm not going to cuss. Edit, post. Okay. I am on YouTube Live now. And here's the big thing about me doing this, because when I got on YouTube Live, Kim was my biggest fan, and she would let everybody know that I need my phone again. I was going to read something to you if I can find it. And anyway, Kim was my biggest fan, and she would let everybody know that I was on YouTube. She'd put it on the Wolf Den site, which is the Wolf family site. Then she put it on the Key family site, which is my mom's side. And let everybody know. Well, nobody ever showed up on us. I have a chat over here. You can chat to me while I'm doing a YouTube live, but nobody never showed up. So that's why I put a link on Facebook so everybody sees this. But it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's I like doing the YouTube and putting it over there so everybody can see it. But hang on just a second. I'm looking this up and Well, for some reason, it's not coming up. So I got to look it up. But anyway, Kim, let me see. I can't give you the dates, but last week was her funeral. A week before, I came home. A week before that, me and Pam went out. We went out because Kim called and said she was in the hospital, and that her pancreas. They told her her pancreas was shutting down. Well, I got upset, and me and her got talking. I got off the phone. And I was really upset, and Pam goes, she goes, I think you need to go home. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, I think I need to go home too. So we went home, and Kim was still in the hospital at Carl, and we were up there, and they were telling us that her liver is shot, her liver was gone, pancreas was full of stones, and she was retaining water or retaining liquid. It's like, okay. When they were doing whatever that, to help her out, and they were putting her on more meds, and it's hard for me to do this, and so they told her that she was going to be there for a while, so we went from leaving Ohio straight up to Carl Hospital in Champaign, Illinois, to see her. And she's sitting there. I mean, she was Kim. You know how Kim is. Joking around. Doing everything. Say she's going to be fine and everything. So I took it with a grain of salt. Because she's my sister. So I kind of figured maybe she'll come out of this. But we know at the time we all knew that her liver was gone, and we all knew that. And they kept telling her that she could get a liver transplant. That this is where everything got screwed up. They all kept telling her she can get a liver transplant. Well, and this was at Carl, so we went back home. They told her that she was doing good, except her blood pressure was a little low that they didn't like. That not much they could do about that. So they might release her. We went back home. Think we went home very long. They called. She called and said, "Hey, they let me out. Can somebody come and get me?" Well, me and Pam went back up in Mom and Dad's car. There's no way she can get in our big truck, and we picked her up. We brought her home. Now she was hurting. She's been in pain for years, but this time the pain was it was excruciating. So when we got home, Kim goes, "You guys are taking my bed. I'll sleep on the couch." Well, no, Mom wouldn't let that happen. Mom put her in her bed. Mom and Dad sleep in separate beds now. And Mom put her in the bedroom with Dad, and Mom slept on the couch, which I didn't like that idea, but there was nothing they can do because they live in a smaller house now. I mean, I could have went to a motel room, but Mom won't let me. But You know how your parents are. But anyway, we spent that week there. Kim kept filling up with water. Her feet were small, but her feet were gigantic by the time we got ready to leave. And we stayed there and helped out. And I knew then that she wasn't coming out of this. And me and my dad talked. We were moving stuff back and forth. Dad had stuff in Billy's garage that the house they used to live in. We were moving back and forth. Me and Dad talked, and we both knew she wasn't going to come out of this. And so I came back home. I think it was a week, and then so where I'm going to lose it. It was Monday. We came home. Tuesday night or Tuesday, they called and said Kim's back in the hospital. We knew she was going to the hospital because she had that fluid in. She had to get that fluid off. Well, then Kim called her mom. He's either mom or Kim. I can't remember who called. So they put her back in the hospital. And I'm like, okay. And because the doctor didn't like what they seen or something like that. I can't remember what all it was. And she called and said they're trying to talk me into getting a liver transplant. I said, don't you? I mean, you don't want it. Kim said she never wanted this liver transplant. She goes, it's not going to work. The medication she was on, it wasn't the Crohn's that she had, was the medication they were giving her for the Crohn's that killed the liver, the pancreas, the kidneys. That's what was going on. That's what was killing her. And this damn doctor, I'm sorry, this is where I'm going to lose it. This damn Dr. Carl, and I know I told my parents, like, if to this day, I hope I never find out this guy's name. Went in there when she was alone, told her that she could get this kidney. She was going to get a liver transplant. It was going to work. Talked her into it when she didn't want it. And then at 10:20, I get this phone call. I didn't answer it because I didn't get to my phone in time. Because she called me. She goes, it's 10:20. It's me. I'm going to get the liver transplant. They're sending me down to Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis to get the liver transplant. She goes, I'll talk to you later. And hung up. And I'm like, I should have called her back. I was in bed. And Pam goes, who was it? I told her it's Kim. I said, they're going to send her down to St. Louis for that liver transplant. I said, she don't want this. I should have called her back. This is where I'm beating myself up. This is why this is why I'm angry. I didn't tell anybody this. I'm angry as hell. It's not at anybody but me. Because I did not call her back and try to talk her out of it. I think I could have talked her out of it. And I didn't do it. Because me, Pam, she sat there that week and told us she did not want it. But that damn doctor, Carl, and I pray to God that I don't find out this guy's name. Because they sent her down there. She said, she told my sister, Chris, and maybe I don't know if she told Tina, but she told her it was the roughest ride from Carl all the way down to St. Louis on 57 that she's ever been on. Because they did, I don't know what, I mean, Chris could probably tell you more about it. She said it was the roughest ride she's ever had. It shook her. It was shaking her all over the place. She kept telling them, she goes, I'm not comfortable. They didn't do anything. They get her down there. She called my sisters. She goes, well, nobody can go with you. But the next day, my mom, my sister Chris, and my brother-in-law, Ronnie Gaffney, they all went down there. They had her hooked up. And they sit there and told her, because she said when she get the liver transplant, they told her, no, you got to go through 3 days of testing to see if you even considered for a transplant. And she's like, what? And I'm like, what? Because she called me and told me all this. And I'm like, what? I thought you was down there for a transplant. And she goes, no, I can't get a transplant until I go through all this testing. I'm like, I'm like, I said, do you want it? She goes, no. I said, then tell them. They'll send you back to Champaign. She goes, it's too late. Go ahead and go through it. I'm like, okay. It's your choice. I mean, you do what you want. Then she was down there. My sister was down there. I can't remember what happened, but all of a sudden she called and said she couldn't breathe. They went over there. They laid her flat. She had all this liquid. All this, it's got to be water. All this on her. They laid her flat. She's got all these machines attached to her. Her kidneys quit working. They put her on dialysis. They got all these machines to her, pumping all this stuff in her. Her blood pressure drops out, bottoms out. They laid her flat. She quit breathing. She couldn't breathe. So they put this BiPAP on her. Well, she keeps pulling it off. I call. Well, Chris calls me and says they're putting a feeding tube on, and I'm like, what? No sound right. So I finally get on a phone call down there and get a hold of the doctor. The doctor's telling me she's having a hard time breathing. I'm like, okay. They didn't tell me about her laying her in a flat. And he goes, and she keeps pulling the BiPAP off. We're going to put a breathing tube in her. I said, okay, this is where I get. At first, he wasn't going to tell me anything, but I told him, I said, look, I'm the older brother. I live in Ohio. There's no way I'm getting it down to St. Louis. I need to know what's going on. He goes, oh, okay. So then he starts telling me what's going on. He says, so what about the testing? They haven't even started the testing because she can't breathe and her blood pressure is low. I'm like, so what are we doing? She goes, we got to get her better so we can do the testing. I'm like, all right. Well, finally, Chris and them get down there. Kim don't want a breathing tube on her, in her. And finally, Kim was out. They said she was asleep. She came awake. Chris said they're putting a breathing tube in her because she keeps pulling the BiPAP out. She came awake. She tried to pull the breathing tube out. They tied her hands down. I'm like, oh my God. I said, she don't want it. I said, they put a breathing tube in her. They're putting her on life support. Then Chris told me they're putting their own dialysis, and they got us. When Mom says, and then she sends us a video of what everything they got her on is life support. I'm like, she don't want this. She got a DNR. Well, they tell my mom went down there with nothing. They all went down there with nothing, no clothes, no car. They have medications. They told them, we're going to put her on sedation. We're going to put the breathing tube in. Hopefully the kidneys kick in, and hopefully some of this liquid gets off. Now's the best time to go home. They go home for a couple of days, get everything. They get my dad. They go back down there. My other sister goes down with him. Billy, her son, goes down there with my nieces, or his daughters, or his daughter. Both daughters. They're going to pull the tube. Because I told them, because Kim told them 2 days. They wanted to leave it in there for 2 weeks. Mom said no. She goes, I got power of attorney, medical. She goes, I guess my one sister said when they opened her eyes and the nurse checked, no, Kim wasn't there. And they called me and told me. She goes, do you want to be FaceTime when they go to pull the tube? And I'm like, yeah. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I thought I'd done some hard stuff. And I can't imagine being there, watching her take her last breath. When I watched it on FaceTime. And it hurt me not being there. And all I could think about was that damn doctor, Carl. He put her there. Well, and the other thing was when she showed the video, I told they had her laying flat, and I'm like, all that liquid's up on her heart. That's why her blood pressure's down. Get her up. You can't leave her flat. They never did. They just left her flat. And the last picture I got of her on FaceTime, and it's etched in my brain, and it'll never go away. It was when Chris put her down there for me to say my goodbye. And I'm looking at her face. And her one eye's just open up a little bit. I could have swore I seen it move when I told her. I said, he says, it's okay. Go ahead. I said, you fought the good battle. I said, go on. No more pain. Her eye moved, and she seen me, and I almost, when she took her last breath, like she wanted to say something, and I seen a tear in the corner of the other eye. And I lost it. I was gone. I was done by that time. My wife was sitting there watching it. She couldn't do it because about almost a month ago, before that, her dad died. She was there Luke was watching. Hey, Luke, oh, I can't do it, Dad, because he was there when his grandpa died. It ripped me apart. I'm still not over it. When I left yesterday, Illinois, it was the hardest time. When I leave my parents and everything, it's hard, but this one was harder because when Kim's funeral, she took a piece of me with her. And every time I leave mom and dad's, I leave a piece of me there too. So, but anyway, I just wanted to read this. I got a couple things I want to read. Let me put my glasses on and get the tears out of my eyes. Actually, they did this at the funeral. Kimberly S. Kuhn, Fairmount, Illinois, 57 of Tilton, formerly of Fairmount, passed away at 1:05 Tuesday, March 21st at Barnes Jewish Hospital, St. Louis, Missouri. Kimberly was born August 27, 1965 in Danville, Illinois to Forrest Dean and Janet Sue Key Wolf. They survived, as well as one son, Billy Lacey Kuhn of Danville, Illinois, one brother, Jimmy Dean Pam Wolf of Rittman, Ohio, two sisters, Tina Randy Davis of Fairmount, Illinois, Mary Christine Ron Gaffney of Fairmount, Illinois, six grandchildren, Alexis Kuhn, Michaela Kuhn, Landon Kuhn, Connor Kuhn, Brendan Kuhn, Elena Kuhn, and one grandchild on the way. She was preceded in death by her husband, Bill Kuhn, and a significant other, Raymond Kuhn. Kim worked at Casey's in Fairmount, previously as a waitress at the Seidel restaurant and Wolf's Cafe in Fairmount. She also worked as an accountant at the University of Illinois, as well as the dining services there, and previously at a former Kresge's department store. She originated the Fairmount Kids page on Facebook. She also volunteered at the Fairmount Fire Department as well as a licensed EMT. She enjoyed talking on the phone with friends and working in her yard and garden, canning produce, and babysitting. Kim especially treasured her time spent with her grandchildren. The funeral services were held 11:30 on Tuesday, March 28, 2023 at Robinson's Chapel, Catlin, Illinois, with Reverend Mike Roberts, officiating. Burial in the Davis Cemetery west of Fairmount, Illinois. The visitations were 10:30 to 11:30 on Tuesday, 28, 2023 at the Robinson Chapels in Catlin, Illinois. That was hard. The funeral was hard. I did pretty good up until my dad went up to say his goodbye. And then I lost it. Kim was my father's daughter. She always has been, always will be. Those two are like, well, you heard of Forrest Gump, peas in a pod? Well, those two were like that. They'd be right there with each other through thick and thin. And they would argue with each other through thick and thin. But Kim was always there to help my mom and dad. And whenever they needed it. And she's going to be missed. I mean, and you guys probably are, I don't know if you've seen the one I talked about Pam's dad, but her Uncle Ted came up with that, talked about the holes. When somebody dies, it leaves a hole in your heart because you expect them to be there. They're there all the time. They're there when you need them. They're there. Well, now they're gone. Like Pam's dad, I got a hole. I used to go down and talk to him. when I wanted to, or I'd see him go by when he went to get his coffee if I'm sitting out on the front porch, or if I needed something and he had it in the garage. Well, no, I don't have that. That's my hole. Of course, he was one of my, week. I got a phone call from Kim telling me what was going on, who was fighting with who, or just, just a phone call saying, "Hey, brother, what's up?" We'd just sit there and talk. Sometimes we'd laugh until our guts hurt or whatever. And now I got a hole. And it's never going to get filled up again. I mean, other people after funeral say, "Yeah, I can call you every week." You're not going to take that hole. That hole's going to be there. I'm never going to hear her voice again. It's what's killing me. Sorry. I had pictures sent to me from one friend, Jenny Hughes. I can't remember your married name, but I know. And I told her, I said, I wanted somebody to take a picture or make a picture, take one of Kim's pictures and put angel wings. Well, if you see the thumbnail to this, Jenny did that. Well, that's the picture I'm going to use. I'm going to make it, have it made, and I'm going to put it in a frame. And I'm going to put it in my new. If you go to Facebook Live on my post and see my basement, well, my chair is going to be there, and that picture is going to be above my chair, and because if you were at the funeral, I told you about the four. Because we always said, I mean, us kids, when we were growing up, there was always been us four. And we didn't think nothing of us when we were growing up, but one day we were all talking. Something happened to one of us, and I'm like, we were all there. And then somebody brought it up, and I said, well, you know what? When all four of us is here, nothing can hurt us. Because, we bicker and fight and bitch about each other. But when all four of us are here, we're strong. Nobody can get in between us. And now, and I said this at the funeral, and now Kim's not here, but there's only three of us, but we're still four strong. We got an angel up there, and she's more powerful than us three. And she's watching over us. But, yeah. It's going to be a hard one to get over. I don't think, I already told everybody I'm not going to be able to go. And me scratching my head, that was Kim. She goes, that's your signature move. Then Tina brought up, I'm going to lose it again, about Bigfoot at the funeral. And it's funny. It was when we took mom and dad to Tennessee. And Ray and Kim drove mom and dad down there. And we all met up in Tennessee, Pigeon Forge. We had a cabin way up on top of the mountain. I get out there and start unloading the truck. Kim takes a picture. I didn't know it. After everything was said and done, we all came home. There was a picture on there saying, I found Bigfoot down in Tennessee. It was a picture of me. I was pissed. I called her. I said, you get that picture off Facebook and you get it off of there now. I don't appreciate that. And she was upset because she goes, I'll get it off here. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do it anyway. Well, a little bit after that, I called her back and said, look, I'm sorry. I said, I don't get mad when people call me names or whatever. I said, you can put it back on there if you want to. I said, I just wasn't used to anybody calling me Bigfoot. Well, a few years ago, my daughter and my son-in-law took me and Pam down there for our anniversary with his mom and his brother. And I seen a Bigfoot standing. It was on somebody's door. I told Pam, I said, you know what? Take me a picture. Me standing next to it. Then I sent it to Kim. I said, hey, found my brother. She thought that was funny. Then the other nickname she come up with, and I told her, I said, ain't nobody else going to call me that. I said, because I used to make a joke about it, about people going to prison. They were going to find Bubba in prison. Well, that's what she called me. She called me Bubba. And I told her, I said, you're the only one that's going to call me that. Nobody else. So every once in a while, when I answer the phone, she goes, what are you doing, Bubba? And I'm like, nothing. And that's what I'm going to miss. Anyway, I'm going on. And I want to read this one more thing before I get off of here. And it's in my... right here. Put my glasses back on. Sorry, guys. Okay, here it is. When Tomorrow Starts Without Me by David Romano. When tomorrow starts without me and I'm not here to see, and the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish you would cry. Oh, I wish you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of many things we did not get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you. Each time that you think of me, I know you will miss me too. When tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand. The angel said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I would have to leave behind all those I dearly love. And she did. I never told my sister I loved her, unless we were joking. We were sitting there one night on the phone, and she goes, I love you, brother. I love you, brother. I love you, brother. I'm like, yeah, I love you too, sis. We would always joke about it, and we never got mushy. If I told her I loved her, she goes, you're getting mushy. When I said my last final words to her, I walked up to the casket, I reached in, I put my hand on her head, and I grabbed her hand. I looked at her and said, I'm getting mushy. I said, because this is the last things I'm going to say to you. Hold up. I got somebody at my door. Where is it? Can you come back? I'm on the computer.
Dinner's done.
Okay, I'll be up there in a minute. But the last things I said to her as I held her hand and I had my hand on her head, I told her I was getting mushy, was, it shouldn't be this way. You wasn't supposed to go yet. But I know you're not hurting now. You broke my heart, so now I'm broken. I'll see you soon, sis. Wait for me. I'll be there someday. Meet me at the gate. And I'll see you later. That was the last things I said to her. Anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know that. And let you know that I lost a cohort, a sidekick. And the wolf kids are now broken. But we're still strong. We're still 4 strong. Just wanted y'all to know that. Anyway, I got to go eat dinner. So y'all take care of each other. Love each other. Life's too short. And whatever you got to do, pray to God. Because I'm turning my life around and make sure I get to heaven one way or the other. And there's only one way to get there. And if you don't know what it is, let me know, and I'll show you how to get there. Anyway, I gotta go. Love y'all. I'll see you next time.